There's a great saying, you will face many defeats in life, but you yourself should never be defeated. I remember when I was 8 years old, I had already been acting for a year, and my father was taking it a little bit more serious than I was. And on Saturday mornings, he would wake us up at 8 o'clock to go up to 86th Street to do the Charleston at a place called the Amos Repertory. And we didn't want to go. We wanted to keep our Saturdays for ourselves, but my father would wake us up and force my twin brother and I to get on the train and go up to a place called the Amos Repertory. For 7 years after that, I had been struggling trying to make a name in off-Broadway plays, and I was so frustrated with the lack of ability to perform and to be artistic that right before Flashdance came out, I became a breakdancer. And I would make money by taking the hat off my head and stretching my arm and walking around a crowd and saying, essentially, did I perform well enough for you to give me $1? There's so many anecdotes, there's so many stories that go back to my grandmother, Carmen, who talked my mother out of having an abortion. When I was in my mother's stomach, it was still illegal in parts of America for people of color and white people to procreate. And there was a bill passed called Loving versus Virginia that was passed while I was in my mother's womb that eradicated that old law. So I guess I was illegal in the womb, and then when I was born, America had come to their senses. The multifacial film I made was a short film, and it was out of desperation to be artistic. Everyone had known me just as a bouncer in New York because I wasn't able to get any work. I was getting off-Broadway work, but there was something too ambiguous about the way I looked that would prevent me from ever getting a star, that would prevent me from ever getting a Hollywood star. And I talk about that subject in the short film Multifacial. So there's something very surreal that my father could be here, who taught me everything about acting, who was a theater director in Brooklyn before I was born, and somehow believed that I had something special, even when performing arts didn't accept me for the actors program, and I'd been acting for 7 years. I say that just to remind the world that sometimes setbacks and sometimes closed doors could fuel you in a way as opposed to defeat you. There's a great saying, you will face many defeats in life, but you yourself should never be defeated. And as my daughter says, dreams do come true. And I guess I used that mantra even when I first came to Hollywood, and I was lucky enough to come across Stacy Boniello, my manager for so long, who was the first person to believe in me, who actually helped me get to Sundance, because I had a film that got accepted into Sundance, but I didn't have the money to finish the movie. And Stacy's company at the time said, if you let us manage you, we'll give you the finishing funds so that you could go to Sundance. If they didn't give me the finishing funds, I never would have been able to go to the dramatic competition at Sundance. The people that I've worked with have been a family to me. I've worked with many studios, but that true definition of family never came to me, never was really realized until I worked with Universal. These stars are so strange to receive because you're receiving it on behalf of everybody that's been a part of your reality, everybody that's been a part of your work. Every actor, every actress that's been in a scene with me have lent that passion and lent that conviction that would allow for that magic to happen in the scene. So without the Jordana Brewsters, without Lorenz Tates, without Michelle Rodriguez, none of those scenes would have been realized. The magic wouldn't have been able to be performed. Without the team at Universal that has believed in me more than anybody has believed in me in Hollywood, none of these films would have come to light. 30 years ago, I made my living by dancing on corners like this with crowds smaller than this, but crowds that bled into the street and stopped traffic. 30 years ago, my heart was singing because I was able to, in spite of the fact that the casting director
That's